Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking essential local roofing knowledge and turning it into a literal high-stakes survival guide for Charlotte homeowners. Look, your roof is the single most important barrier protecting your home. But the truth is, most of us don't even think about it until there's water actively dripping onto our living room floor. So we're taking an incredibly detailed look at the data, the codes, and some really specific local insights from 5-Star Roofing Charlotte to empower you with the exact knowledge you need to protect your investment.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover Charlotte's unique weather challenges, spotting common roof problems, neighborhood-specific roofing needs, navigating those tricky codes and warranties, and finally, the simple repair process. Let's dive right in. Section 1. Charlotte's unique weather challenges. These are the climate forces constantly battling your roof. Your roof faces an absolute year-round assault. In the summer, we're talking humid, subtropical air fueling these intense afternoon thunderstorms. They bring high winds and hail that can literally tear off shingles or puncture materials in mere minutes. But then winter, totally different beast. We're dealing with sneaky freeze-thaw cycles. Rainwater seeps underneath your shingles during the day, freezes overnight, and then expands. It's basically prying your roof apart from the inside out. This happens way more often here than in cities with consistently cold or warm climates. Add in those ice storms that snap heavy tree limbs right onto our houses, and you can quickly see why Charlotte roofs require a lot more attention than the national average.
But here's a crazy thing. The threat isn't just coming from the sky. Mecklenburg County's famous red clay actually shifts and stresses your roof from the ground up. As this clay absorbs moisture and then dries out, it shifts around, creating these really subtle ongoing foundation movements. You're probably not going to feel it while sitting at your kitchen island, but over time, these micro movements put an incredible amount of stress on your home's structural framing and by extension, your whole roofing system. So your roof is essentially fighting a two-front war, the extreme weather above and the literal ground below.
Moving on to Section 2, spotting common roof problems. It's all about catching damage before it spreads. Listen, catching a missing shingle today saves you from catastrophic water damage tomorrow. We're specifically looking for 3 sneaky and often completely invisible ways your roof might be failing right now. First up, metal flashing. This seals the gaps around your chimneys and vent pipes. As those seals age, they pull away and water just sneaks right in. And what's really tricky is that the water travels along your rafters, so the leak showing up on your living room ceiling might actually be far away from the real hole. Second, inadequate attic ventilation. In our classic Charlotte humidity, a poorly ventilated attic traps hot moisture. It's basically a mold incubator that prematurely bakes your shingles from the underside. And third, isolated lifted shingles. From the driveway, they might look perfectly fine, but if their seals are broken from a sudden storm, your decking is totally exposed to the next heavy rain.
Now, if your asphalt shingles are hitting that 20 to 25-year mark in our local climate, they are likely entering their final days of effectiveness. This is crucial. You have to know the true lifespan of your materials. Sure, some packaging might boast a 30-year lifespan, but let's be real. With Charlotte's severe UV exposure, humidity, and wild storm cycles, you really need to start paying super close attention right around year 20. That's the stage where shingles start losing their protective granules, become brittle, and start visibly curling at the edges.
All right, Section 3, neighborhood-specific roofing needs. Did you know your exact zip code actually dictates your risk?
There is simply no one-size-fits-all in Charlotte roofing. Just think about it. A historic Myers Park home battling mature tree branches during an ice storm faces a completely different reality than a Lake Norman property dealing with extreme open water wind exposure. If you live in historic areas like Dilworth or Plaza Midwood, you've probably got steep pitches, complex dormers, and those beautiful mature oak trees. They're stunning, but they drop branches and encourage moss growth, so any repairs need careful historic matching. Contrast that with South Charlotte spots like Ballantyne. Lots of large subdivisions built in the 90s and early 2000s. The major risk there? All these roofs are hitting that 20 to 25-year expiration date at the exact same time. And then, of course, properties up by Lake Norman face intense, unobstructed wind loads coming straight off the water, meaning they absolutely require enhanced moisture protection and highly wind-resistant materials.
Which brings us to Section 4, navigating codes and warranties, the rulebooks of roof protection.
Okay, so the North Carolina Residential Code isn't just bureaucratic red tape. It is your literal shield against the sky. In a city known for violent afternoon thunderstorms, proper wind load compliance is absolutely non-negotiable. The code demands strict requirements to make sure your shingles resist severe local winds. We're talking highly specific overlapping patterns for underlayment and precise nailing patterns for every single shingle.
If a contractor gets lazy, cuts a corner, and uses 3 nails instead of 4, a strong summer gust is going to easily rip those shingles right off your home. And get this, manufacturer warranties, which can last up to 50 years, are completely voided if these installation codes aren't perfectly followed by a certified installer. So yeah, it's a big deal.
I really love this philosophy from our source material. Too many roofing contractors push complete replacements when targeted repairs would solve the problem. A truly trustworthy local authority knows that a targeted repair is often all you really need. We've all heard the nightmare stories, right? The high-pressure sales pitch where a guy insists you need a $20,000 new roof because of one tiny leak. Actually, scratch that. A reputable contractor will prioritize a targeted repair, like patching isolated storm damage or fixing a pipe boot, if the rest of your roofing system is still sound. An honest assessment is all about extending the life of your existing roof whenever it makes financial sense for you.
And finally, Section 5, the simple repair process. This is your blueprint for local roof repair. Now, before you take action, you really need to know the definitive red flags that signal a full replacement is the smarter move. Because while targeted repairs are awesome, you gotta know when it's time to let go. If you're cleaning your gutters and finding handfuls of coarse sandy granules, your shingles have lost their protective UV coating. If you look up and see widespread curling at the edges, or if you are battling multiple active leaks in different rooms at the exact same time, well, pouring money into patchwork repairs at that point is just throwing good money after bad. Those are the undeniable signs that a full replacement is required.
If you do spot those signs, you just follow this highly efficient 3-step blueprint that takes you straight from an honest assessment to a pristine cleanup. Step 1 is the assessment and estimate. A pro examines all the components, shingles, flashing, ventilation, and provides photographic evidence plus a detailed no-surprise written estimate. Step 2 is professional installation. This is where those strict NC building codes and wind load requirements are meticulously followed so your warranties are completely locked in. And step 3, which is honestly so crucial, is the inspection and cleanup. A great contractor doesn't just pack up and bounce. They run magnetic sweepers across your entire lawn so you don't find a stray nail with your car tire or worse, your bare foot. Plus, they do a final walkthrough to ensure the workmanship is absolutely flawless.
I'm going to leave you with this final, provocative question. When was the last time you checked your attic for daylight? Seriously, if you walk into your attic right now, turn off the lights, do you see tiny pinholes of daylight peeking through the roof decking? Because if you do, that means water has a direct, open path into your home the very next time a Charlotte thunderstorm rolls through. Don't wait for the ceiling to start tripping. Take what we've covered in this explainer today, understand your local weather risks, hunt for those sneaky signs of damage, and just be proactive about protecting your home. Thanks for tuning in, and I highly encourage you to go take a look at your roof today.